fool me again. You can't fool me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. Can't buy scallion, we can't buy time. You can't fool me again. Can't fool me again. You can't fool me again. Hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. You touch up line and a resort to crime. You can't fool me again.
What people do in no money, what people at you in no at you. Covid money missing we in the your little rat you. Use the youth them on the waste and bust a man to statue. Say me like a catch you but bigger than a figure you. Take the spit of money girl and say that is not you. On the head the man above end up him a got a bet. Too much it in the kitchen some a fly well like a patu. When singers and DJs and social media's coming at you.
It burn me
300% free.
It burn me
Garbage pile of the day.
It burn me
Give the teacher them raise.
It burn me
I see corruption peace.
It burn me
Mash down the people them house.
It burn me
Every day appear arms out.
It burn me
Appear money them a thief.
It burn me
And them a sell out the beach.
Can't fool me again. You can't fool me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. Can't buy scallion, we can't buy time. You can't fool me again. Can't fool me again. You can't fool me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. You touch up line and a resort to crime. You can't fool me again.
Come me say big up all the charities and all of the giver. Some a go like say them powerful, me no make a bigger. The 100 the promises, none of them not deliver. Cut up the youth, they rap and they down in our river. Member bold money and they lie them tell. Corruption smell and they pocket them swell. When police don't a market like Satan out of hell, go mash up people start like thief when them sell.
It burn me
Or they treat the market man.
It burn me
Or them a treat the cat man.
It burn me
Or they treat the peanut man.
It burn me
Or them a treat the jerk man.
It burn me
Or them a treat the son man.
It burn me
Or them a treat policeman.
It burn me
How them a treat soldier man.
It burn me
How them a treat everyone.
Can't fool me again. You can't fool me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. Can't buy scallion, we can't buy time. You can't fool me again. Can't fool me again. You can't.
Stibby-dim day. We in Global TV says certain kind of friend be no cape. And some informer friend we love like. We in Global, bona fake friend and bona tape. We in Global, we not promote them, we not support them. Look at them on the cheek, come here represent for we in Global TV. Check it.
Good morning and welcome to At a Glance. Thank you for joining us. It is the Global Television Group. Hurricane Beryl has upgraded to a Category 5 or tropical storm or whatever it's called. Has been upgraded to a tropical 5 based on the trajectory, the direction. Jamaicans have the final day to make their preparation before the hurricane make fall in or around or alongside Jamaica. So all of the warnings still stands, and we are urging that people follow the necessary instructions, take precautions to protect life as this hurricane seem to be garnering force as it make its way along. Good morning to you all and welcome. Thank you for joining us this morning. To my community of party and all my family members, platform moderators, membership holders, viewers and subscribers, commenters and trolls, those who are looking through our windows, good morning to those peeping toms. The government and its peeping tom posse, good morning to you all. We're not going to draw our curtain. You can look and see whatever you want to see. Debbie Jarvis, good morning. Jason King, Sonia Foster, Annie Jones. Sunshine, Beat and Teach. Good morning, and welcome. RJ, Jim Ashley, Sheena Kelly, Paula Shelley, Veteran, how you do? Gloria Morris, Cousin Rohan, how are you? Them I look through the window, cousin. Them I look through the window. The government is that desperate, here and them vloggers. So tell them I walk and I look through, picking the window, I draw picking out a house. I take picking a mobile phone from them. So now we know where our missing children are. Angela missing dead, Gloria Morris, Lennox Reed, Bros, Natalia Freeman, Lilith Lockerbie. Good morning. Sandra Ellis, Sharon Bernard. Good morning, and welcome. Sanjay Benjamin, Keith Matthews, Marcia Thomas, The Easy Jerk World, Larice Beckford, Precious Allen, good morning. Kevin Davis, Wayne Evans. Good morning, everyone. Good morning and welcome. People want to take the hurricane warning serious. Even though we know say Andrew Holness a work for immaturity ban, we're asking you, the people, to make sure you take all the preventative measures to protect life and limb. You have your food storage, Sue McDuffie, Yvonne Riley. You have your food storage and you have your necessary apparatus and a buy up on a bottle of water. Oh, don't worry about me. My nose today, I kill me with burning. Buy up on a bottle of water and all sort, whatever on a need, on a candle, on a battery, on a flashlight, whatever on a need if you go to a couple week or a week or so until after life come back to normal if the country is hard hit as is expected. But let's hope, as always, storm have a way of being a grave threat to Jamaica. But when he get to a point, in tone down and behave himself. So let's hope this is not one where the country will be hard hit. But we must also, everyone at home must also be prepared for whatever might happen. So please, people, take the necessary precautions, follow the necessary guidance, and instruction from, sorry my people, it's going to burn me continuously. Let me see if I sniff something. I can't burn out this garden for a while. This is the era, the time of era where we have fever, go on bad, when you think you rather them, I blow about the place, but them soon gone. But we are going to get to the peeping Tom them this morning. May I try to bring you But while this video load, let me ask you, because I'm going to bring it to you. Project 2025, particularly for those of you in North America. Type in your Google search engine, Project 2025. Have you heard of Project 2025? Or are you aware of the right-wing people behind Trump? The Christian right-wing conservatives behind Trump. Have any of you on the North American side of town? Elaine Turner, how are you? Annie Jones, are you, any of you, are you aware of Project 2025? Have you read up on Project 2025? Have you seen the various news articles written on Project 2025 in the last week or so by various different news sources? Are you aware of the effects of Project 2025 on the next American presidential election? Are you aware of who Dr. Kevin, what's you call him? Hold on. Dr. Kevin D. Roberts. Are you aware of the Heritage Foundation? Are you aware of the Adolphus Core Foundation, the funders behind Project 2025? Are you aware? Evan Bradford, Evan Riley, Georgia Dennis. And if you're not aware, particularly to those of you who live in the North America space, and if you're voting in the next election, you ought to be aware of Project 2025. Go and read it up on Google. It's all there. Don't walk and say, and me, I spread propaganda. Don't walk and say, JB, I may spread propaganda. Go and read up Project 2025. But let me give you a little snippet of what to look out for and listen out for with regards to Project 2025.
Be useful for you. I was talking to some people today and we were talking about how to win the election in November, and I said, well, one thing we need to do is more messaging. For example, did you know that only 1 in 4 Americans have ever heard of Project 2025? 1 in 4. I said, do you know what Project 2025 is? You know, it's the plan that Republicans have in place that they're going to execute in the first 180 days if Trump is elected. And they were like, yeah, kind of, but can you give us some talking points? And I was like, okay, sure. So here they are in case they help you. And caveat, of course, before I start, Project 2025 is a very long document. And so to give like a 2-minute little spiel on it is hard, but I'm going to try. If you're talking to a friend on the street corner and you just want to give them the highlights, try this. So you can start by saying something like, did you know that there is a large group of billionaire right-wing Christian nationalists who has put together a blueprint for the next Republican president, which will assumedly be Trump? It's called Project 2025. It's 920 pages long, and it is a thorough plan for how they're going to change the country fundamentally to a place that is unrecognizable to almost all of us. Project 2025 is basically a plan for systematically taking apart the federal government, which means that all of the things we rely upon in the federal government, Social Security, Medicare, veterans benefits, you know, the EPA, workers' protections, all those things dismantled. Project 2025 has a very clear plan to extend the powers of the executive branch and give the president the powers of basically an autocrat. The president would then use those powers to issue executive orders that would basically reverse a lot of our civil rights. Contains a plan to redirect the military to support domestic domestic law enforcement, and that includes using the Insurrection Act to stop protests on U.S. soil that the administration doesn't agree with. It will remove pretty much all government protections from LGBTQIA people and criminalize many of them. It will reverse racial equality, attack diversity, and reverse all environmental gains. It will replace secular education with a Christian theocracy, and there is a specific plan to get rid of the Department of Education completely. It's going to use something called Schedule F to remove 50,000 civil servants on day one, and they will recruit and train 20,000 conservatives to fill those jobs. Those conservatives, by the way, will be required to take a sort of loyalty pledge where they say that the election in 2020 was stolen. Otherwise, they will not be hired. Historically, our defense policy has been one of defense. They want to change that to offense. Require U.S. foreign policy and U.S. aid to align with a pro-life agenda, and use a very old law that is already on the books called the Comstock Act to ban all abortion and likely most birth control on day one. And if someone challenges you and says, oh, this can't possibly be true, the great news is this is all online and they can go read it themselves. That's how unashamed these people are of this plan. They're not even hiding it. So encourage your friend to do their own research. 1 in 4 Americans understanding that this is Republicans' plan is not enough. So spread the word. And then for God's sake, help us win.
I'm not spreading U.S. election propaganda, but I know a lot of my audience is in North America, and I think you ought to be aware. I'm not going to read anything for you this morning. I'm just showing you that there's lots of information out there on Project 2025 that you can go and research for yourself. You can also look at the foundations attached to Project 2025, the Heritage Foundation, as well as the Adolphus Core Foundation. So the president of Project 2025 is Dr. Kevin Roberts. There's enough information out there for you to read. So I'm not going to read it for you. But just to make you know, say, you can go where you can go and find it. Danet Warner, how you do? Dorrit Gordon, how are you? But just to make you know where you can go and find it. Michelle Lewis Wilson, God's gift. Who else have I seen? Beulah, how are you? But let's take a look at the development in what Fox News is reporting on the recent development of this hurricane.
I'm Fox weather meteorologist Haley Meyer. This just into the Fox Forecast Center. Hurricane hunters have found that Hurricane Beryl is now an extremely rare and extremely dangerous Category 5 hurricane. It's now the earliest ever in the calendar year that we have seen a Category 5 develop in the Atlantic Basin. Let's get into the latest statistics, as this is a historic update that we've seen from the NHC. Now at that Category 5 status, at landfall was a Category 4. The wind speed now up to 160 miles per hour. This is just speaking to how crucial it is to have the hurricane hunters flying in and out of the storm and its center to get the real-time data. That pressure still continuing to drop, 938 millibars, with that movement at west-northwest at 22 miles per hour. Jamaica is that next island that could potentially see some impacts, as well as Haiti and the Dominican Republic. Here's what we're looking at from what has changed from the 8 p.m. advisory to the 11 p.m. advisory. At 8 p.m., they said 155 miles per hour for that wind speed, going up from 150 and bumping that up even further to 160. The millibar pressure remaining somewhat similar at 938, but the 938 dropped from what we saw earlier into the day. So we're showing some intensification of this particular storm, and that was forecasted to happen for Hurricane Beryl, as it still has fairly conducive conditions for the next few hours or so for continued development. Here are the tropical alerts. Jamaica is the one spot we want to focus on right now, as it is within the cone of where that center of low pressure could come. Now, they're expecting to see the hurricane force wind gusts begin on around Wednesday morning and afternoon. So truly Tuesday is the last little bit that they have to make those storm preps. The island of Hispaniola for the southern end of Haiti and into the Dominican Republic, tropical storm warnings are in effect. And this is just showing you why the cone, it's important, but it's not the only thing you need to look at when we are tracking tropical systems, because this could be a potentially life-threatening even for folks out in Haiti and into the Dominican Republic, expecting a heavy downpour of rain. And with a lot of the mountainous terrain we see on some of these Caribbean islands, that's a problem with flash flooding and impacts for areas that live on those drainage basins. Here's that forecast track. This is the cone. Where is it going next? Going to remain in the Caribbean, and it is expected to weaken. We are seeing some strengthening right now, but it is supposed to weaken by Wednesday into the evening, 110 miles per hour as it approaches Jamaica. Thursday evening, 90 miles per hour, and then it heads towards the Yucatan. So spots like Cancun, into Belize, that's where we could see potentially a hurricane or a tropical storm that would be Beryl, nearing the area. There is some forecast uncertainty, though, as to where this storm will go. We have some steering mechanisms that we'll get to in a second. Here's what it looks like on enhanced satellite. Fairly annular in its presentation, which means almost like a donut or a tire. We're not necessarily seeing these classic outer rain bands. This is a somewhat smaller storm, but the impacts have been very potent. The hostile wind environment, not really there. It's moving in a low wind shear profile, lots of moisture, and warm water is definitely a tick mark here as well. This system shattering records here. It beats Emily as the earliest formed storm. Emily was back in 2005, and for record's sake, 2005 was the same year as Hurricane Katrina. Now, that's not to say we're going to see a Katrina-esque storm impact the United States, but that threshold could be there as we get later on into hurricane season. This truly is an unprecedented thing to have happened in the Atlantic Basin, especially where this particular storm Beryl formed. The forecast uncertainty remains once it gets past the Yucatan Peninsula. Depending on where that high pressure system sits over the central U.S., if it slides a little farther out towards the east, that would drag this storm system in towards the Gulf of Mexico, potentially making impacts to the Texas coastline or the Louisiana coastline. So we still have a lot of ways to go to track out Hurricane Beryl. Now, as I mentioned, becomes the earliest Category 5 hurricane on record, and Emily was the only other storm coming close. It formed on July 11th, but became a Category 5 on July 17th. So it beat it by right around 15 days or so. It's also potentially one of the furthest south Category 5 hurricanes ever on record. Hurricane Matthew formed at 13.3 north, so not quite beating that record, but coming very, very close. It had the record for the strongest June hurricane ever, beating Audrey in 1957. Earliest Category 4 on record before Beryl was Dennis, also in 2005. The records and the superlatives for this storm just continue to be shattered. And this just begs the question, what are we going to see as we get into September, which is, climatologically speaking, peak hurricane season? We'll be there weathering the storm with you in the coming months.
That's the update on the storm. Before I go on to the peeping toms and the ones who are now responsible for the kidnapping, the predatory kidnapping of our children, we now know who have the capability and who is passing that information to others so that they can track and kidnap our children. The people of Kenya today are giving William Ruto an ultimatum. William Ruto and his cabinet must resign. Otherwise, the people will invoke, I think it's clause 1 of the Constitution, that allow the people of Kenya to sack the president and its cahoots and exercise direct power. So let's see, Michelle Clark, how are you? How it will, Corinne Wilson, turn out Colin Richards in Kenya. But I hope one day the people of Jamaica, under the tyranny at the moment, will one day learn something from the Kenyan people and wake up. But we see the Prime Minister come out, come tell us, James, the Prime Minister is tracking young people. Within the same breath of the Prime Minister tracking young people are going missing in our country by the droves. The Prime Minister have the capability to track young people and to track vloggers. Not my word, the Prime Minister's word. In that same cycle of the Prime Minister tracking young people and tracking vloggers, young people are going missing in our country. We later learned from a JLP vlogger that the Prime Minister has turned over the information that he's achieved or attained from tracking young people and vloggers. And therefore, the Prime Minister's social justice activists have access to the information that the Prime Minister is tracking young people and vloggers. Young people in the same breath in Jamaica are going missing. How are we not to believe then that the Prime Minister and his cohorts of vloggers are responsible for our missing children, or tracking and kidnapping our children? The Prime Minister says we have the capability. And on me, sister, and not just about anybody come out, come sister. The Prime Minister says we have the capability and we have tracked a young person, and there's more young people we're tracking. In that same breath, Prime Minister, young people is going missing in our country.
On social media that bordered on being defamatory, probably libelous. The person was tracked and their identity discovered. Long and short, the person was put up to doing this by another political organization. And we have been tracking several such cases where you see some posts being made that border on defamatory or libelous. And when you dig behind it, which we have the capabilities to do, and to discover the people behind these accounts, there are young persons being recruited to do this.
You heard it. The Prime Minister is admitting that he's tracking young persons. Not me saying it. The Prime Minister is admitting that he's tracking young people. While the Prime Minister is doing so, young people are going missing in the droves. Who is the Prime Minister passing those information to? Now we are learning how the Prime Minister is disseminating those information that we're yet to know if under these tracking from the government, a court warrant was sought to snoop on us, Prime Minister. And if you obtain a court warrant to snoop on us, under what authority would you be able to pass those information to your social media warriors, Prime Minister? Jamaica, want to see where it go?
Let me tell you that every waking moment will be spent to track them down and to give them what they duly deserve. Trust and believe me. It is happening
Them a
already.
listen, them come, them they not on the live now. Some of
You've
them a
seen
listen.
5 lawsuits already coming from the top. Well, the
Right.
ones that are coming from social media, you don't see them yet, but they are coming. They are coming because the social media ones are a little bit more difficult
But
to
Chop,
find.
The
what
British
them?
are
Hold
coming.
on
British
now.
are
The
coming.
British.
Chop.
Yes.
Them bad and have a video of you and them something there, but they're showing their faces, but they're not giving their names and addresses.
But don't worry,
We're
we are getting
waiting
those
on
because
you people,
we are
and we
getting
can't
it.
get
You
it without
trust and
that,
believe.
with you
We are
Philippians.
getting those names. We have some of the names already, and we are getting the
Philippians.
additional names,
Yes.
and we're verifying.
You
Some
know,
of them we
say,
find them house already. We find the house
yeah,
already. We see them in them house or
What
water
is that
plants
shit, right?
already. We see them already. It's only a matter of time.
Boy,
you know,
them
say
shot.
And guess what?
99%.
Guess what? Some of them are local in Jamaica, and some of
Right.
them are overseas. And trust and believe, of the 7 that are on my list on social media, 7, 4 have already been identified. 4 from 7 has already been identified. It's only a matter of time. It's only a matter of time. For all of them who used to post people picture up and having no argument. Don't worry. The
Hello.
book
Let
is
me tell
coming.
you something.
So now we know where the Prime Minister is sending the information after tracking. It is fair then to ask Prime Minister and your vloggers who you're tracking and are helping to track and identify people, Prime Minister. Not me, sister. Oh, you say you track, them say that you give them the information, you identify people for them. So we want to know what happened to our missing children. Who tracked and identified our missing children? Given that Gagas already have a track record and was trained and taught by Peter King, given the deputy speaker of the House and Chopper John and what the other one they did name Roland or Marlon or whatever. What happened to our children, Prime Minister? Prime Minister, chief vloggers, and social justice and social media warriors. What happened to our children? Because on our P2 vloggers window, on our chuck children, what happened to our children, Andrew Holness? Is there an organized pedophilia ring in Jamaica, Andrew Holness, that you are running because you're the one who come out and tell us that you're tracking young people? Are you identified and they identifying young people to be kidnapped, Prime Minister? And you tell we say, you identify young people, you track young people. And your vlogger them come tell we say, you identify people for them. How much of our children have you identified for the human trafficking ring that the Americans said the Jamaican police are involved in, Prime Minister Holness? Now we're getting closer, Prime Minister. Now we're getting closer to the ring, to the child trafficking ring in our country, the child kidnapping ring in our country. The Jeffrey Epsteiners, remember Vegas was trained in the Epstein camp of what a man named Peter King. Vegas was trained in the Epsteinic camp of Peter King. What happened to our children? Well, when your capability can only track vloggers, when your capability can only track children. I wanna say so, Dean West, how you do? I wanna say it. attack young people. In the same breath, young people are going missing in the droves. Your vlogger said you pass over MW. Identity information of vloggers to them. Good morning to those on the X. How do you do? Quite a few on there this morning. Me know say a lot of Jamaica Labour Party supporters is on X. Ask them, me say, want to we missing picnic them. Same way they can walk and look through vlogger window. Same way the Prime Minister can chop. Same way the Prime Minister can chop. Hold on, Wayne, hold on. Please. Miranda is having a fundraising event in Brooklyn, New York. Southwest St. Elizabeth. Can you please advertise? Well, is it our Miranda Rodder? Daisy Magazine, how are you? Answer the question for me, Lilith. But we cannot ignore what is being said by the Prime Minister and the Prime Minister named vlogger. The voice you heard on the video, the man voice, the he-she voice for you hear upon the video is Chopper John. For those of you who may not be able to recognize the voice, that was Chopper John. That was Chopper John.
Our social media warriors like Keisha Mack, Alex Higgs, Selena, Oral Campbell, Bridget Watson, Donovan De Paz, Black Italian, Jay Brown, Alex Jano, Mr. and Mrs. Dottyman, Chopper John West from the Chopping Block, who is our personal Ian Harding. I know that 85% or so of us sitting in Parliament. Our social media warriors.
Chopper John West from the Chopping Block. That's the one the Prime Minister passed vloggers' information to. Not my words, his words. Miranda Roddock, are you the one having the fundraising? If it is, put up all the information in. Let me put it on screen, please. Yvonne Green, how are you? The Prime Minister told us in plain English, collectively, the other day, that he's tracking us, the capability he has to track, who he has already identified, explain that there are more such cases. Went on further to say him apply pity to some of them when him see how young them is what the Prime Minister says. In that same breath, Prime Minister, children go missing in Jamaica on a daily basis, left, right, and center. Uniformed and ununiformed. The JLP blogger is coming to tell us that they have already identified such vloggers that the Prime Minister is pursuing and tracking to the point where all summer will window them a peep through. And one day for the Vegas, I do the peeping through window because we know Vegas like to watch and see where I'm going. No, I am not. I have no clue. Lilith Lockaby, who are you referring to? And the Prime Minister come out and tell me, I'm doing it. I have already done it. There's more that I'm doing. I have the capability. The the political blogger, the social media warrior. I have seen hot off the press other information that was taken from bloggers page and sent to the PM, and other than Mr. Gigas was involved. We're now being told. Good morning from Spain. Robert Honeywell, good morning. How you say good morning? A Benos, I was one of the Benos. The Dias, a good morning, I think. How are you? But now we know what we information I go all over the place. Now we know the Prime Minister is willing to target bloggers and send violent threat to bloggers if we don't talk good about him and him social media warrior them, Benos Diaz. If we don't talk good about the Prime Minister and him social media warrior them are send threat. So why make we not tell them what address, where we live, and we name, where we be? And them a look through a window. How much pick the window? The Jamaica Labour Party vloggers them a look through. How much of our missing children? How much of our missing children window has Jamaica Labour Party social media warriors have looked through? How much of our children them Raymond JLP Johnson? Jamaica Labour Party social media warriors them draw upon road and carry away because the Prime Minister has tracked and identified, said this is one that is good for the Epsteinic ring. What uno run, country girl? And uno come out and say it, you know. I wonder if Jamaica people are take Gigas, Chopper John, and Andrew Holness serious, given how much uno children are going missing. Now that uno know the Prime Minister check uno children them and turn over the information to Vegas and Chopper John them for abuse and kidnap and kill and traffic and organ harvest uno children them. Uno don't see where it's going, Jamaica. And every day uno talk about brand Jamaica and freedom of this, freedom of what? If the Prime Minister can track uno. Remember Beryl take information off a database and put it out in a public and tell we say nothing is no more a secret. Remember say 2 years ago Nesta threatened we say him have all our IP address and him can do this and him can do that and him have contact with this network provider and him have they not always been threatening us when it comes to our freedom of speech? Have they not always been threatening us when it comes to our freedom of speech? And isn't it that they are doing it plain in public now, while the same government is trying to shut us down so we not scrutinize them? Chopper John, me go throw stale piss in your face. Come know you love walk and smell backside, Chopper John. Vegas, me go throw stale piss in your face because me know say Peter King teach you to walk and sniff backside and sniff underpants, Vegas. Because Peter King teach you to walk and sniff underpants. You think I wanna come out here, come tell us on stalk people. No? I wanna come out here, come admit to snooping and stalking. I wanna remember the evidence is out there. I wanna come out, come admit so now snoop pan way. I wanna come out, come admit So now stark way. So come sue me in a Britain. Make me get on a done for stalking because I'm going to have to declare where to get me information from. Different alma mater 5 over on Twitch. Good morning and welcome. Thank you for joining. So now we know we don't have to worry anymore who I walk and chop with on road, who I send fire bomb to with mailbox, who I get man for attack with on road. Now we know where it's all coming from. It's coming from the Prime Minister Andrew Holness, who have come out in public and admit that he's tracking us. Send out him social media warrior them, trained by Peter King, social media warrior. Brace up Hero Clark against wall, social media warrior. If come out, come threaten we. If tell we say them a peep through, we win that. We know so no fetish, we no labor right. And them something that we no do in another Cliff Hughes party end of year. We know so no fetish and nothing will surprise we. It's just another JLP fetish organization. But the criminality goes deeper, Prime Minister. You are chuck picking while picking are going missing. Hold the crossfire there. Hold the crossfire there, Prime Minister. You are tracking children while children is going missing. The Prime Minister is intercepting information on our children, kidnapping them, organ harvesting them, child trafficking ring them, human traffic them, county gang line them. Patricia Williams, Monica Wills, and the Prime Minister admit to it and me and make it up. And the JLP vlogger them admit to it and me and make it up. So now we know what happened to our children. Now we know why our children can't be found, because the very people who track them and kidnap them are the very people who have the capability to track and tell us where they are. Kenroy Johnson. We don't see where it's going. Megavolt, you there? We don't see where it's going. Don't you all see what's happening to our children? The government and its social media warriors, it's highly involved in the crimes committing against our children, because the government is tracking our children. Patricia Matthews, how you do? The government is tracking our children. The government is disseminating that information they obtain from tracking to their social media warriors. Do you see the danger to our children, Jamaica? And can you now understand why our children are being kidnapped and missing, taken in hundreds per year off the face of this earth without any trace? Now you see why so much of our children are missing without any trace, because the Prime Minister who has the capability to track them is the Prime Minister who has the capability to disseminate that information to social media warriors, in order for social media warriors and just about anybody to kidnap our children for their lucrative human trafficking, organ harvesting ring. You see the danger. The Prime Minister have a lot of questions to answer. How did your vloggers get to vloggers' window after you come out and tell us, Patricia Barkley, that you're tracking us? After you come out and tell us that you're tracking us, Your social media warriors turn up at vloggers' windows. I've been a Sarkodie. How are you? There's a civil and criminal liability here, Prime Minister, because you have breached the privacy of the people. You have admitted that you are snooping on the people of Jamaica without a warrant from the court and without a legally justified reason for an investigation, Prime Minister. You are snooping on the Jamaican people on the basis of their freedom of speech on social media, Prime Minister. You admit that. You have also passed on the information, Prime Minister, to your social media warriors to be stalking other vloggers. That, Prime Minister, is a crime. If stalking is not a crime in Jamaica, it's a crime in Britain. If it's not a crime in Jamaica, stalking is a crime in Britain. And for now, come and I look through a window, on a stalk with. And on a sister, and we. But I'm glad on a tell we, wagwan, because it be a bad lots of us as to what is happening, Dorothy Brown, to our missing children. That was a great bother. What is happening to our missing children? How our children, them, Christine Gilbert, can just miss off of the face of the earth so without a trace. Miss off of the face of the earth so without a trace. And now we get to understand the Prime Minister is tracking our children. And the Prime Minister is passing information on our children to social media warriors. In that same breath, our children are going missing in the droves. Is there not a correlation here? Is there not a connection here? Missing and tracking in this and breach of privacy, all in the same breath. And now we make it up, and them own it up, and I tell we what happened and what them do, and them threaten we, and I tell we say wait and see what we are gonna do with. We just want to know where we live. We know how much I live already. The Prime Minister is the one who told us. The Prime Minister is the one who told us that he's tracking us, Mary Messenger TV, and they've got a vast capability when he can deploy against we, and he can hand out the information to who he wants to target and intimidate we. You see how much libelous and liability you create in the same breath, Prime Minister, both civil and criminal. You're aiding and abetting crime, Prime Minister. You're a conspiracy. You're a conspiracy, Prime Minister. You're a part of the conspiracy to attack vloggers physically. It is what you're promoting, Prime Minister. We've seen where RJ Marks use the same predatory gang at Babylon in New York and Washington, or Florida, New York, Florida, and Washington, because the Batty Dr. Nelson, him was in Florida, Sonia Smith. So Labour always have their paid activists out there looking for confrontation. And what the Prime Minister is doing, the Prime Minister is making sure he identify vloggers who is uncomfortable with their broadcasting or their freedom of speech. And the Prime Minister is disseminating your information or information to his social justice warriors, Kenil Gale, so they can go out on a limb and go out on attacks upon us while tracking and kidnapping our children at the same time. Wanna see the JLP reversion, Mary Messenger TV? How the JLP is gone right back into the Siaga mentality, but then again, a Siaga meant to Andrew wholeness. The late 1970 JLP mentality, and PNP on nothing on a better, because on a more violent than the Labour them. The way how no come out come attack me yesterday, no Labour ever attack me, so when me go after Andrew wholeness. So don't bother think on a PNP no vile too. But what is happening here is the Jamaica Labour Party going back to the Eddie Siaga vile mentality of the late 70s and early 80s. That's what we're seeing. That's what is really in front of us. They have been doing it for months. They have gone loose and AWOL. The Prime Minister is the one that is leading the charge. The Prime Minister is the one that's leading the dirty mud charge. But Prime Minister, you have fallen right into our hands. You have fallen right into our hands, Prime Minister, because you made it clear to the world that you're snooping illegally, unconstitutionally on the Jamaican people to prevent their freedom of speech. We're later learning, Prime Minister, that information was also disseminated to your social media warriors in order to go there and target vloggers who you think are not putting your Andrew wholeness message, Pamela Okola, in a good light. The people of Jamaica can be comfortable with you. I'm not going to be. And let me tell you this morning, you predators of missing children, you bunch of walking and peeping through people's windows. You can't go sue me. You don't have a penny to get. You'll only be wasting money on legal fee, because I will not waste a penny in legal fees on anyone else. I will not waste a penny in legal fees on anyone else. And I can guarantee you, you're not going to waste a lot of money suing me without a penny. Without a penny to get. Not even a nickel or a dime. Janet, how are you? Not a nickel or a dime. I dare you to go sue me, because I know say anyone on the run go sue me. I guarantee not going to make no waste on the money. And after on the waste on the money, whatever the court order or award, me not say court can't award no money against me, no. How you know I go get it? It's a civil matter. Court can come hold on for me and send me to prison. It's not an award from a criminal settings. How do I go get it? I go and make no waste on the money. So I'm glad, Prime Minister, so you come tell we. You no come out here, come give with the evidence of snooping, illegally intercepting information and breach of privacy. You no also come out here, come give with the proof, so now stop with. So you can conjure up and pile up anything you want pile up. Me, I'm going to make no waste on the money. Rupert Legister, how are you? Me go make no waste every nickel and every dime. Wanna don't have a penny, cause nobody can hold me and take dime out of my pocket. Me go make no waste on the money in illegal fields road here. Child predators, Vegas and Chopper John and Dr. Clovis Nelson. What we missing children them there. Because Andrew Holness tell we saying chuck the picnic them. And Uno tell we say Andrew Holness pass the information over to the child predators. Where are our children? Uno know where vlogger live. Child predators. Where are our children? Where are our children? And Uno tell we so. But two Uno Jamaica people sit down and have this gangster, this hooligan, where all murderer Daryl, rapist and murderer who murder Diane, rape and murder Diane Simmet, and him Papa help him to cover up the crime, want to come out here and tell us Mark Golden renounces British citizenship is not enough. Murderer and rapist, you should be in prison. Murderer, rapist, Daryl Vaz, you should be in prison. You come out here from talk about it is not enough. It's too little, too late. Mark Golden giving up his citizenship is too little, too late. It's too little, too late that you are not in prison, Daryl Vaz. It's too little, too late, Daryl Vaz, that you are not in prison. On a like the live, don't make me go off on a rant pound this morning. It's too little, too late, way too late, that Daryl Vaz is not behind bars for rape and murder. And not just rape and murder, Daryl Vaz, the cover-up of the rape and murder of Diane Simmet. And you have the nerve to open your mouth, Willesden, in our legislature, Jeanette. You have the nerve, Daryl Vaz. The Daryl Vaz where we sit by a vote on election day in a public. Have the nerve to open his mouth. But two Jamaica people are fool. Look on Andrew declaration. But to the integrity corruption body is there to protect Andrew. Are them afraid of Andrew? Vaz said Kevin, not Kevin, Kirk Edwards, so you do. Vaz said Mark Golden giving up him UK citizenship is too little, too late. Too little, too late. Nen Miles. The same Daryl Vaz that should be in prison for rape and murder. But because that same Daryl Vaz and in criminal alliance can cover up crime, can commit the crime, evade justice, and cover up the crime, and then still manage to go and buy a seat in the legislature, then Daryl Vaz can come out here and open their mouth. Murderers and rapists sitting in our parliament. And at them people there want come curtail with freedom of speech. And them people there I walk and track with. Why you never track who killed Diane Simmet? Why you don't go and turn in yourself, Daryl Vaz? If you don't want to talk about justice and integrity, Daryl Vaz, why don't you go and turn in yourself and confess to the rape and murder of Diane Simmet? You don't want to come out here, come threaten and intimidate with who no talk to? You know rapists and murderers and thieves? Pamela Akola, how are you? You know rapists and murderer and thief? You don't want to come out here, come threaten with and intimidate with where are our children? The Prime Minister said I track young people. The Prime Minister is handing over those information to social media warriors, to predators Where are our children? People in the Epstein camp of Peter King are given information on our children. Where are our children? Where are our children? We don't know where Vlogger live. The Evening Jerk World. What is it? Joseph Bryden, how are you? Huh? You can't go on Joseph. Ask Darrell Vaz, where are our children? Where is Diane's body? Why have Darrell Vaz turning himself for the murder and the rape, Joseph? I wonder if you help Darrell Vaz cover up the crime, because the whole army were loyal to politicians in Jamaica, you know. The whole army are murderers and thieves and corrupt cover-up artists. Because the whole heap like you, Joseph, will cover up crime for politicians. Maybe you help clean up the blood off of Orlando Terry Long and Patrick Bailey. Because the JLP people love to cover up crime. Now, so you go. When the JLP people love walk and kill people, Joseph. So maybe you can tell us what happened to Diane. Maybe you can tell us what happened to Jermaine Junior body. Because uno JLP people love cover up crime. Uno murderer, rapists, and kidnappers. The Prime Minister is tracking our children. With children, them are going missing at the same breath. The Prime Minister hand over information to social media warriors in the same breath. We look like we're dummy too. If you don't know, say the Prime Minister responsible for the kidnapping and the child trafficking of our children, even the American media, them have said. The Jamaican police involved in the child trafficking ring. Therefore, the tracking information what the police them have to involve in the trafficking ring come from the Prime Minister will admit to it for him a track way. And I said, our AI based mass surveillance or Instagram, TikTok, and our social media profile are open to the public, then nothing illegal is collecting or information there. No, the Prime Minister doesn't have capability to go beyond that. The Prime Minister have capability to go beyond that and do their thingy rather, where they can identify. So why the Prime Minister can't identify who have we missing children, them? Because the people them will have we missing children, them have phone with them Prime Minister. How you can find them? Are you Prime Minister? Tell them people that with the phone where have we missing picnic them, where they picnic them, they go take them up Prime Minister. How you can find them people there? How you can find them? How you can remember say you have a tracking device. We can tell if the picnic were missing. Him phone the next to XY person phone Prime Minister. Or when the person your phone move, the picnic phone move with them. The last part where the picnic was phone location was live Prime Minister. This particular person was their Prime Minister. Who gave those information, Prime Minister? Who gave away the information on our children that are being kidnapped? With children, them will get kidnapped, Prime Minister. With children, them we're missing where we can't find Prime Minister. Who identified them for the ring, if not you? If not you, Prime Minister, who identified them for the ring? Because you're the one who came out and admit to the tracking. Your social media warriors came out and admit to having the information that you have tracked. What happened to our children, Prime Minister? Where are our children? Where are our children, Prime Minister? Where are our children? And that is the question the entire Jamaica must be asking the Prime Minister. Where are our children? Thank you very much for being here this morning on Global Television. And everywhere you go, ask the question, where are our children? Ask the child predators. Ask the JLP snoopers. Ask the JLP information disseminators. Ask the JLP peeping Tom. Ask the Epsteinic Mandarin, Peter King ring. Where are our children? Good morning from Global Television.